text for it. And Cloudinary is brilliant. It's like it's just like a place to store images online, and it's a fantastic bit of kit. And so I've done some sessions with the kids already. I met them a couple of times now, and I've met the teacher by myself, but just without the kids a couple of times too. And we've been talking about design. The first thing I wanted to do is to get everyone interested, get the children interested in native plants and wildlife. So to kind of tying it all in together. And then and also edibles as well. So it's like a wildlife and food forest garden. So there's lots of things I want to kind of incorporate into that. So just like showing plants, this is what I did last year, last term, showing some common plants and then what insects actually live on those plants. And it's really tactile, and it's just brilliant for learning stuff. And so I'm really into it. And then this is the actual it's just the actual space that we've got to play with. And what's kind of nice and also quite funny about it is that it is a kind of dark, damp corner of the school that really isn't used for an awful lot. So I think there is, this is north is pointing that way towards the school, but you've got a row of trees here, and it does make it quite dark. So you got to work with what you've got. And I think this is always, doesn't matter what the garden is. You've got the space. Come up, be imaginative, and try and think of how you can use that space. So that's one shot, and then this is the small hall, the Neathbach, and this is the garden on the right hand side. So it's not a massively big garden, and but there's a lot. This track here is used as access for the mower for when they mow the fields in the summer. They need to get the tractor down there, so you've got to leave that. But I'm going to put beds down the side here and make the track into something as well. So that's all kind of working around it. And then access. In terms of access, I'll just show you the CAD plan itself. So this is the CAD plan. So this is that view down here, looking along the track, and that's the south facing is on this side, and that's west facing there, but with a big line of trees. So there, we kind of talked a lot. Actually, it's good to do a plan, but it's also really, really good to actually spend some time in the space and figure out what it is that you're trying to achieve. This is always the thing: is what are you trying to achieve with the garden? I mean, this is like a wildlife and food forest garden, but what space do you have? What's important? We're not growing food here. It's not like a massively productive garden. There'll be as many fruit bushes as we can cram in, but it's not about the food production. It's about having a diversity of species. It's about wildlife, and it's about making it a nice area for the kids to be in as well. And so let me just so it's kind of interesting, it's like a really interesting space. So what I've actually got is I wrote up some notes. Let's see if this works. Is that working? Yes, that should be working. I hope it's working. So there's kind of 4 or 5 key features for the garden. First of all, it's a quiet seating area, and I've put it down here. I'm going to regret this. Oh, maybe not. So I've put the seating area down around about here somewhere. So it's surrounded by. It's about there. So it's south facing. Yeah. So you're getting the sun when you sat down. It's the nicest, sunniest spot in the whole of the garden. So that's where you want to be. And I want to put like a curved gabion wall around it. Now you can make your own gabions quite cheaply if you're au fait with going down to the metal, the blacksmiths, metal workers. You can buy it cheap. You can buy the mesh cheap online and cut it yourself and create the hinges yourself. It's actually quite straightforward. I was pleasantly surprised how relatively easy it is. It takes a lot of time to build them, but then we've got volunteers for the school. So idea is to create a kind of a circle. Let me see if I can get a circle sorted out here as well. So a circle. This is just very, very rough kind of ideas, but a circle around the bench, and then then what you've got is that possibly a seating area here as well. So in this part down here, so that there's privacy. You're facing south. You've got a wall around you with plants growing at the top of it, and then you've got a bit of an opening at the front, because the main bits being used are this door behind, and then this door occasionally around here from the classroom around here. So you want to keep it a bit shielded, a bit secluded. So that's a kind of key consideration. But then you also want to be able to have the space for other people to sit down. So other space, like maybe like the surfaces, look at the surfaces and having an area where like like a class can sit down, or that might be too many, but something like that. And then yeah, so that's kind of that's the first part. So you haven't been able to see that. Sorry, my bad. Ugh. Oh dear. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll just go over that again really quickly. So yeah, so seat here, facing south, and then sorry about this. This is like a new setup for me, so it's a bit of a get back into the swing of live streaming, which is always a joy. And this big circle here is the area for that seating for the kids all around it. So yeah, so it's secluded, it's shielded from the back, from the main in and out door, and it's also a bit shielded from this classroom door here. And yeah, so that's the kind of idea behind that gabion wall. Yeah, good stuff. The next bit that I wanted to show you was the art class material. Is kind of interesting. So what I would always do, to be honest, what I would always do is you put the hard features in first, kind of figure out where you want to put like seating and hard standing surfaces and paths and things, and then you fit the beds around that. Yeah, so put in that stuff and then see what space you have on the design, on the ideas, what space you've got left, and then you figure out what plants will fit in that space. The kind of plants I'm talking about for art materials, art class material, there's loads of things. It's brilliant, but just dogwoods and willows and a whole range of different stuff. What I have got is a spreadsheet for plants, and I've just got a list of plants in there, and there's there's quite a few. Should be something like hedging plants in there as well, not particularly up to date. So yeah, that's the idea then for the art materials, because it's quite a damp area too. Probably at this end put in some shrubs, and then you keep them pruned. Now this goes back to the idea of involving people in the garden. It's a garden if it's used as a garden. If no one uses it and looks nice, that's just ridiculous waste of time and energy. Whereas if it's a garden and people are actually using it, it's far, far, far more important. So if you've got art class materials, then get people to use those materials. Get people, pruning the dogwood in the winter, and then using the canes for an art project, or using the leaves off of like something like an aronia or an acer or whatever it is, but using the leaves and collecting them and then using them, and that is far, far better. So yeah, I'm also, there's not really the space for it. I'd love to have like piles of stuff, but in a kind of contained shape. And by this I mean things like gravel, sand, clay, just a whole range of different materials, and kids can play in it. It's like, and it's tactile, but it's also useful for art classes as well. Not sure how much space. Well, we'll figure something out. There'll be space, even if it's a small amount. I think again, what you look at here with the garden design is, if you have a small garden, then you want to reduce. You cram it in, make it small, but make it useful as well. The next thing I wanted to show you was, hold on, wrong one. The next thing I wanted to show you was wildlife habitat, and there's just so much stuff that we could talk about. So for wildlife habitat, oh man, it's just brilliant. Where's my Pinterest page gone? Look, gabions is great. I haven't got gabions on here. So gabions are absolutely brilliant for wildlife. John Little, my favourite garden designer, one of my favourite garden designers. He does use loads of work with gabions, and they're just fantastic. Oh, this is some of his work here, but yeah, gabions, and then using different materials as well. Oh, is it going to show me the picture? Come on, just show me the picture. I don't care. No, it's not going to show me the picture. But anyway, use different materials, and then there's moss bed. I can't believe it. Pinterest, I'm locked out, so I can't show you big photos of it, which is annoying. But a moss bed, a bog bed, a bog. So it doesn't have to be a pond per se. Water in the garden always is a good thing, and because it's a damp garden as well, making the most of that. So gabions are brilliant because you can put all sorts of different aggregates and materials in there too. And the other thing for wildlife, which I know this kind of comes in with the design of it. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. So the other thing, let's go back to my notes. The other thing was wildlife habitat. It was edible berries. Yeah. Lots of fruit bushes. Recycled substrates. So again, this is it's a pain you can't see them, but John Little stuff is all about the substrates, all about creating a diversity, a habitat for different plants. And what I want to do is to do the same. It's the same thing. So those areas which don't require a rich and fertile soil, you put a really nutrient poor soil, and that gets you a diversity of wildlife, and it gets a diversity of habitat for plants as well, which also kind of helps with the wildlife. So the bits I'm looking at, I didn't put it in. Never mind. The bits I'm looking at are this track down here, which would be fantastic, and then making a feature out of it. So you're kind of creating a mosaic out of different building waste materials for that track, and it becomes something that people go, oh, that's nice. It's a track, but you have all these different building materials. You have crushed concrete, crushed ceramics, crushed tarmac. Just a whole range of different things, and then with the different colours you can create patterns in there, and then that can tie in with the school, like the school name and the associations, and there's all these things that you can start to play with, and it becomes great fun, and it becomes like a nice thing to do rather than a damp dark corner of the school that no one ever uses. So the other thing I want to do, so that's cool. That's the track. So that's this bit here using different building materials. Got your gabion wool, and then the other thing I want to do is to do a labyrinth garden. Oh, don't do this to me, Pinterest. So a labyrinth now. Labyrinths are really, really interesting. I don't know much about them, but there's all sorts of great stuff. They're not a maze. So the whole point of a labyrinth is that you walk and it's only one way in and one way out, but it makes you pause and stop and consider, and that is perfect for a school. So what I want to do is around the outside of the labyrinth is put specific plants or specific features and something in the centre, so that there's a labyrinth which again is made out of recycled substrates, recycled building material, but it has a whole load of different focal points too. So it makes it gets you thinking about what you're walking towards, what you're walking around. It's just beautiful. It's just like such a gift to gardeners. I think it's it's lovely. So, and that'll be pretty damn cool too. So that was the other thing. So there we go. Those are the three things that I want to put on. Where are you? I'm sorry about the sorry about this kind of slight the haphazardness of the presentation. I haven't done any live streaming for ages, and doesn't it show? Oh, there we go. So here we go, substrate. So, and one last thing as well, just in terms of feature. So we've got the seating area down here, and then we've got some sort of labyrinth here. I could actually make it bigger, and it starts to go into other areas, and I think that's lovely as well. You start to blend it in. You've got clear boundaries, but you're blending in the shape, and it kind of overlaps and flows into, so that can flow into the track. And the other final thing is the willow structure, which I've got. Oh no, I've done it again. man, I've got to stop doing this. Yeah. So, oh dear, how much have I messed up? Anyway, it's fine. I'll just I have to make do. Really, really sorry about the yeah, the kind of presentation of it. Maybe I will do another one. I think I might do another one. Yeah, I'll do another one. Okay, so if you've watched this one, don't bother watching it again. It's just going to be the same old nonsense. But if you have watched it, thank you for watching. Sorry for messing it up so much. And I'll sign into Pinterest and make a nice one that you can see later on YouTube if you want to. Okay, cheers then. Bye.